Why exactly is it that it's so hard to get a team to perform, especially when you're building an expert service business? And the biggest reason, basically, is because we have three problems that are coming together all at once, and the solutions out there aren't really designed for the expert service business that is trying to grow from one person to that small team of 3, 4, 5 people. And so because of that, those solutions are incomplete, and everything that you have been told about setting up SOPs, documenting your processes, trying to set up some project management tools, or then moving on to your leadership skills, your team management skills, your hiring and culture, like all those things, obviously they play a role, but the reason why they don't get your team to perform to a level where you can trust them so that you can focus on taking on more projects with confidence is because they actually fall short. My name is Juan Guerra. I'm the founder of Scale Yard, and I help consultants transfer their expertise to their team so that they can take over delivery, they can trust them to perform, and therefore they can recover their time and focus on closing more projects with confidence. That way you can build the business that you set out to build, the one that you envision where you're sharing your expertise, you're making an impact, you're going out there talking at events, talking to people while your team is taking on those clients. You know that they got your back and they're delivering for you. And the reason why this is so hard, it's basically because all those solutions are only scratching the surface of what is really taking place here. And for that, we need to understand the way that a business grows. Basically, according to the founder of Rakuten, which is a Japanese Amazon, every business grows the following way. We have one person, then we have 3 people, then we have 10, then we got 30, 100, 300, and so on. And so what's happening is that in the beginning, you are by yourself and you basically design all the processes around yourself. And so then you start growing, you get more clients, and you reach capacity, you want to hire help. Our assumption is that when we hire help, we're going to transition here and it's going to be a team. But unfortunately, that's not really how it goes, because there are processes and systems and workflows and mindset and tools and everything that has been designed for this stage of your business. And in order to bring people in, you actually need to redesign it again so that they can become a team. Otherwise, what's happening is that you're hiring 2 people to help you, and now you need to manage that help, right? Where you do things and you get the information from the client, you send it to the people who are helping you, then you process that, then you send it back. And so it becomes more like this. And this is the reason why you end up feeling that you need to hire experts who have the experience in order to take over some of the work. You feel like you don't want to hire people because the idea of investing the time to getting somebody to train them, to getting them to perform, to have them leave and then have to start all over again, like all that is happening is because of this transition. And this happens the same way as you move here, and so on. And so what I do is actually I help you set up processes, simplify your business, design a scalable service model that allows you then to recover your time and really transition all the way to up to here. And that is because that transition, it's not something that happens naturally. It actually has to be forced. And the reason for that is because we have not only that design that comes like that, but we have 3 forces that have to be addressed. So let's say you want to build a scalable service business, yeah? And so normally people reach a level where they need help, and so they start hiring, but they don't really have a process to get others to perform. And so maybe you hire from some friends, maybe you see that that doesn't work, maybe you try to go on LinkedIn, you start scouting, but at the end of the day, there is no clear process to get that person to perform within a role. As much as you have tried to design or create some SOPs, the SOP makes sense in a large organization where the roles are split. But in a small business, that person doesn't need just to focus on one particular thing. They need to understand the entire workflow of the business. And that's why that doesn't work for your stage and your type of business. You are an expert who saw an opportunity in the market and went out there and started selling your services. Now you need to transfer that expertise to somebody else to take over the work that you used to do so that you can continue focus on growing the business further. And so normally we run to hire those people. We think about training them, just shadow me, just follow me, and so on. So that's problem number 1. As you see that that's not working, you did SOPs, you focus a bit more on the business. But the problem here is that delivery depends on you. And as much as you try to step away, whenever you want to trust them and let them fly solo, things start coming down because things depend on you. And this is problem number 2. The reason why things depend on you has less to do with the delivery and the people that you work with, and actually has to do more with what you sell. And not having a clear offer, it's the thing that actually creates too much complexity in your business, which keeps delivery depending on you, and therefore things become too complicated in order to have anybody just come in and start performing. And so normally business owners who reach this place, they either fire everybody and then they go back to themselves and are like, okay, I think it's just easier, faster, simpler to do everything myself. I can have more control, I get to keep more of the money, and sort of like I'll try to increase my prices and that's it. But actually all it takes is a couple of tweaks, and the biggest thing starts with the offer. Every time, it doesn't matter even if you have niche down, every time you solve a different problem to a customer, you're actually starting a whole new business from scratch. And that is why there's just too much complexity in your business. Every time you say yes to doing a different problem, to solving a different problem, you now need different skills, need to target different place in the market, different messaging, different type of client. And that's exactly why you get all spread out, and that takes over capacity. You're constantly overwhelmed. Projects are not building on top of each other. One project doesn't build on the last one. It just starts from scratch, all new. And so the first thing to do here is actually to take over and try to simplify some of that complexity that is coming from the offer. And the way that we do that is, instead of selling this to this person and this to this person and then this to this person, what we're gonna do is streamline things, and we're gonna create a signature offer. Signature offer, and then we offer the other things on the back of that. And this is what we call a productized signature offer. This allows us then to streamline our processes, position ourselves as the ideal customers, increase our prices, because now we are the experts that do this thing, and therefore the value is clear to our target customer. And so that is the first thing that we gotta do. Once we have that, now that we know that we're constantly selling the same thing over and over, we can start streamlining delivery, and therefore we need to install a scalable delivery system. Up to before, you were selling A, B, C, D. And then what's happening is that with one client, you meet in a cafe. With the other one, you have a Zoom call. With the other one, you meet at a networking event. With the other one, it was a referral, and so on. Then you sell them something completely different. Then you deliver, one guy's you talk in Slack, another one is on the phone, and so suddenly you have way too much uncertainty, complexity. All this stuff kills capacity, and that is why right now you feel like you can take 2 to 3 clients that you're comfortable with before dropping the ball. And so you hire people to help you manage those projects that are coming in, but there's so much uncertainty that they also cannot operate. So what we want to do is actually streamline delivery, define your standards, standardize the processes, and map out your intellectual property so that everything stops living in your head, and therefore we turn it into a system that other people can follow and achieve the same results as you. And so that is step number 2 on how you get your team to perform. So now you have a replicable offer that you sell over and over. Now you have a delivery process that you follow over and over. And now we move on to having a growth path for your team members to develop themselves personally and professionally within your organization so that they build career and scale. Like grow your business and grow themselves. How do you do that? Well, you need to understand that they are also clients that are buying into your vision, into your mission, and they want to come to a place where they have meaning. That's why they're going to work in a small business. But the idea here, and what makes this whole process differently, is that because we are clear in our signature offer and we understand what it is that we sell, now we can hire people who are non-experts and actually train them on our processes and systems so that they can perform like us. Just the same way that the large multinational consulting companies are going to colleges and universities and hiring and recruiting people, getting them through their training programs. You're basically doing the same here in your business, and that way you can hire high potentials that are eager, motivated to learn your processes, but will not cost you and will not have all these crazy requirements of somebody that has been in the business for ages. But instead, they follow your process and they get to deliver results. And that is the thing that makes us completely different from everybody else out there. Over the last 15 years, I've been dealing with student organizations. I've been hiring students. I've been working with them. I used to be part of student organizations, and I understand how structures are built and recruited in there. And so we are able to identify people who are high performers, who are in the beginning of their journey, and then teach them our systems. When you bring an expert that has experience, they have their own way of doing things, and therefore they're not going to follow your processes. They're going to change them and try to implement theirs, leaving you to their mercy in order for the business to run. What we want to do is the opposite, where now you're able to take people in and teach them your processes, you see them perform, and you start now guiding them. The biggest shift here is to understand that we need to move away from the employee mindset that we need to do everything because it's our business and I'm the expert and clients only want to work with us, and really see what our role really is. And that is of a systems builder. We need to build the systems for marketing, for sales, for delivery, for recruitment, for training, for management, for finance. The moment you decide to become a business owner, you shifted your role. And the role of the business owner is actually to take a step back and see the entire asset on its own. And that means that the real customer of the business owner is the potential company who may or may not buy their asset. Whether you want to sell or not, it doesn't matter. You need to take a step back and really see the full picture, and that's when you finally start seeing all the different components, because in that moment you start to play a different game. You start to play a bigger game where now it's not about you delivering the service to the customer, it's about you building and developing systems that allow customers to be served without depending on you. And that is why I'm so eager to share this idea with everybody of build a business, not a job. A job is where things depend on you, and 20 years can pass by and you never really built an asset because you have a job that nobody wants to buy. In order for you to continue growing, if you're somewhere around the 10K mark, this transition doesn't happen naturally. And the reason is because we need to give our team not only the responsibility to own their roles and to deliver the work, but also the authority. And as long as you continue to put yourself between the client and the team, you're going to struggle. Everything is going to depend on you. Everything will be defined by the way you see it, by what you want to do. And instead, you need to let the client go together with your team and move away from control to monitor, to observe. When you do that, when you start seeing the big picture, then you'll be able to install the systems that you need in order to grow your business. This is the reason why SOPs are not working. This is the reason why you feel like you need experts. You do not need experts. All you gotta do is repackage your expertise into a scalable signature offer. Redesign your delivery processes so that you harvest the intellectual property in your head, you systemize that process, and now you have something that you can teach non-experts to follow so that they can get the same results as you. That is the model, that is the process. This is exactly how you get to build a small team that performs, giving you the trust, allowing you to recover your time and focus on closing more projects. I hope you have enjoyed this training. I hope this gives you an overview and allows you to better understand why the things are happening in your business. This is what I call the OSP method, which is offer, standards, and people. And when you have a signature offer that you sell over and over, you start to define the standards, and therefore you can get people to perform to your level. If this sounds interesting, if you want to analyze your situation, you want to strategize and plan around this on how this OSP method can help you out, well, you can go ahead and book a call with me. You can have a power hour where we're gonna go deep into your business from the perspective of the OSP method and really analyze where exactly is the bottleneck that is gonna give you the biggest ROI on your effort. If that sounds interesting, just check my LinkedIn page, my profile. You'll find in the feature section a link to that. Go over the document. If it makes sense, just go ahead and book it. And if not, thank you so much for making it this far. I hope this training gives you the insights that you're looking for. If you have any questions about this OSP method, just feel free to send me a message. And if you know somebody else who may benefit from understanding this process, feel free to share the training with them. Thank you so much. My name is Juan Guerra, and I hope I see you around. Cheers.